most of you know my name's Terry, and like the intro says, I've been a cowboy most of my life. I've done a lot of other things, you know, in between looking for one job, you find something else, so you gotta eat. So I've done lots of other jobs, most of them I didn't like, but I kept going back to cowboying and kind of enjoyed that. Did a lot of guiding and stuff like that. The producer actually came up with the idea for the show. He, you know, he tells a story about being in his hot tub drinking wine. Yeah, there was other stimulants there too. And he came up with the idea, and he went to the Toronto Sportsman Show looking for someone that would make a good Mantracker, and he really didn't know what he was looking for. But he ran into my cousin, who's an outfitter up at Turner Valley. He's fairly colorful, as most outfitters are. And he worked with the producer before on some Alberta tourism stuff. So he pitched the idea to him. He had the horses and he lived in the bush a lot. He pitched the idea to him, and he kind of said, well, I don't know how to track people and I'm way too busy, but call my cousins. He called me and showed up for a weekend, and he came out, flew out from Toronto. It was in like February and it was cold and miserable. I saddled up a horse and showed him I could actually ride a horse, and I knew which end the saddle went on and stuff like that. And we went out and bartered around, and they showed some, filmed me doing some stuff, and did a bunch of interviews, and he says, okay, well, just pretend there's a track there and get off your horse and say something about it. Well, that kind of makes an open-ended sentence there, so I said, well, put a track in the snow. So I walked over and stomped in the snow, and I rode up on the horse, and I got off, and I looked at the track and looked around, and I'm kneeling down at this point, and the old mare was kind of like a dog, so she put her head over my shoulder, and I looked at her, and I said, horse, looks like we got company. And he said, like 4 years later, he said, at that point, you had the show, you had the job. So I have to thank the old mare for that one. But yeah, so from there, the show has done very, very well. We get to travel all over Canada, and now we're doing a lot of the States, and we're getting to meet a lot of neat people and do stuff like this and see some new country, and it's all pretty cool. It's an absolute blast, and the great thing about the show is I don't have to act. Because they try to get me to do things sometimes for different interviews and stuff. If I'm doing something for Global, it's like, well, just walk over here and turn left and say these 14 words. Forget it. After I turn left, it's like, what do I do now? Because I have no idea. I'll say it 5 times, and all the words are backwards every time. So I just stand until I find one that works. But there's no script. There's no acting. There's no beforehand, you're going to lose or he's going to win, or none of that stuff. Nothing is predetermined. It's you turn the prey loose and fire off a flare, and then I get to go chase their butts through the bush. What you see most of the time is sheer panic for the first 2 days, for the first day, and then after that they kind of settle down and they just run. They have no idea where they're going, what they're doing, but they sure have fun doing it. Some of the questions that I get a lot, and I'm starting to hate the 3 questions, but I answer them first, because that way, the first question I'm going to answer is, why don't do the cameramen ever give it away? And the cameramen are getting very good. They wear full camo, and if the prey are walking down a road or a trail or something, the cameraman will be in the bush, filming from the side or whatever. And once I see the prey, if they're a mile down the road and I start bebopping after them, the cameraman can do whatever they want. As soon as they hear the horses, they can run out and film me, do whatever. And my major goal in life is not to run over one of the cameramen when I'm chasing the prey. Because they got to get their shots too. And they're running alongside, and we've got some pretty good cameramen in very, very good shape. And they've got to keep up to the prey who are trying to get away from me. And in order for the cameraman to get the right shot, quite often I've got to talk to the cameraman. It's like, I'm 10 feet behind you, keep going, because there's nowhere else for me to go. And they get a little nervous sometimes when we've kind of got a code word. And when I say look out, it means turn around, figure out where I am, and get the hell out of the way, because we're coming through. And quite often they just stop and they freeze, which is a good thing to do, because then I know they're not going anywhere. But the one cameraman we have, Lawrence, he's also the course designer. He's an amazing individual. He's an adventure racer ×2. We asked him one time how many races he's gone in and won, and he says, I don't know, I quit counting after 100. So he's been retired for, I think, 3 years now, and he's still number 10 in the world. So yeah, that's pretty good. The other cameraman for the Prey, he's only been the cameraman for about 4 years. Very, very good, but his camera is a lot bigger than Lawrence's. He struggles sometimes on them great big hills, but they do very well. And my cameraman is on foot, and he gets a lot of great shots of 4 horses' asses leaping all the time. He doesn't get very many shots of me coming towards him, so those are the shots we do later on. But I asked my cameraman, you know, he's an adventure racer too, and I asked him, you know, why he's kind of slowing down, and he says, well, I don't like those sprint races. He said, over the long weekend, he says, I don't like those. And I kind of grinned and I said, what do you call a sprint? And he says, well, over 3 days, a long weekend, 250 miles. I was like, Christ, I don't even ride my horse that far. But, you know, they ride their bike, they canoe, and they jog for 200 miles in a weekend. He doesn't like them short races, though. He likes the long ones. So yeah, go to it, buddy. But yeah, we did a show, northern Alberta, somewhere like that, Grant A.K.A. And we filmed the whole show. It takes 5 days. We ended on a Friday. Lawrence and Shifty, the 2 cameramen, they grabbed a plane, flew to Montreal. They raced for Saturday and Sunday, grabbed another plane back, and Monday morning they were ready to film again. They'd had 4 hours sleep since the last time I saw them. And then they went all day, and they grabbed some sleep that night and went all day the next day.